here are my top 12 PPR receivers for 2021. Let's get right to it. At 12, we're going with the captain, Terry McLaurin. That's right, breakout season in 2020, put up 87 catches, over 1,100 yards with 4 different quarterbacks. We know Ryan Fitzpatrick loves to give stars chances to make big plays. I think he ascends into the top 12 here in year 3, and he better be ready to give his post-game outfit to Fitzy at the podium sometime this season. At 11, aforementioned A-Rob.
Oh, yeah.
A-Rob.
I know you're going to think that's low. I think you will. He reeled in a career-high 102 catches for over 1,200 yards last year from a guy named Mitchell True, whatever they tried to call him. The quarterback situation could be fluid. Andy Dalton, QB1, blah, blah, blah. He's produced as a top-end receiver throughout his career, regardless of who's been throwing him the ball. It's Bortles, Mitch Foles. It has not mattered. So I have him here at 11 because at 10, I do like Keenan Allen just a little bit more. He's as consistent as it gets, racking up 100-plus catches in 3 of the last 4 years, averaging just under 1,200 yards per season in that span. He may not have as high of a fantasy ceiling as some of these other guys, but you're taking him top 10 for dependability, for a super high floor with a quarterback named Justin Herbert. From one Justin to another, at 9, the Offensive Rookie of the Year, Justin Jefferson. I have him just a little bit lower than most other people have him, coming off his record-breaking 1,400-yard rookie season. So much talent. He's going to put up numbers. I don't doubt that. It is hard to see him, in my opinion, kind of like Justin Herbert, exceeding what he did last year, given that he's going to be getting the majority of the attention now from defenses, and it's a run-first offense. We know Dalvin Cook will be out there doing his thing. Irv Smith, I think, is going to have a breakout year, red zone guy, so I'm looking to sort of temper my expectations a little, but he's still at number 9. At number 8, DK Metcalf.
Okay.
He established himself as a legitimate top 10 receiver last season, over 1,300 yards, double-digit touchdowns. He should only be getting better. Shane Waldron, we're hearing a lot of this, let's get it going. Let's get it going fast. I wouldn't expect any type of drop-off here. I like what Shane did with Jared Goff in that offense, so I am excited. DK is for real. At 7, A.J. Brown. Too low?
Is that a 7 or a 1? I can't tell.
That's 7-11.
Wow.
He's averaged over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns per season. People need to realize that. It wasn't just last year. Over his first year in the league. That's a lot. He's in a run-heavy offense. I think that adds to his value. People think it's going to be Derrick Henry. I don't trust Ryan Tannehill. Julio's there now. Those factors should only give him more one-on-one matchups and allow him to continue to feast. Not to mention the losses of Jonnu Smith, the loss of Corey Davis. I did the math on my TI-89 calculator, guys. That frees up 157 targets from last season that are now up for grabs. Sure, Julio will reel some of those in, but it's going to be A.J. Brown. Okay, let's roll on to number 6. Who we got? Oh, CeeDee Lamb. Little high, a lot higher than most people have him. I'm all in on CeeDee this year. Let's look at what he did, even in a relatively minuscule small sample size. Starting the season with Dak last year, even in the early goings of his rookie season, he was a top 10 fantasy performer before Dak's injury, ranking 6th in the NFL in receiving. Those two were out there and special together, and I truly feel he's only going to be better with a year under his belt. Incredible matchups in the slot with Amari and Gallup playing on the outside. He will hopefully have a full season with Dak out there lighting it up. The ceiling, to me, unlimited. You're paying for nothing but upside. And I think he could be top 3. He could be number 1. I know there's a lot of guys in that offense. Did the defense add that much that makes me feel good about them not throwing a ton? No, I love him at 6. At 5, Calvin Ridley.
Wow.
I think people forget or don't think he was a top 5 receiver, guys, last year in fantasy. He was great whether Julio Jones was in or out of the lineup, on the field or off of it. He averaged 107 yards a game in his career in 8 contests without Julio Jones on the field. 90 catches. He had over 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns last year, and I think he can get better and improve on that in 2021 now that he is the unquestioned number 1 guy. And Triggs, you gave me a lot of confidence about him yesterday.
That offense is going to be humming, and you've got an MVP quarterback still who can throw the rock.
It's true, a low-key good fantasy option he always is in Matt Ryan. At 4, DeAndre Hopkins. So he tied a career high with 115 catches last season. He put up over 1,400 yards. The touchdowns did come down a bit, just 6 touchdowns. He was limited in that department. Kyler, do I see Kyler not running in touchdowns? Probably not. That's why I have him outside the top 3. Kylo Ren in 11 himself. I could see that touchdown number climbing a little bit, but I do expect him to have 100 catches at least, 1,300 yards again. It's a dynamic offense. They're going to score a ton, so I have him at 4. The top 3 was really a labor of love, like a really tough thing to put together. At 3, I have Stephon Diggs. All 3 of these guys left have a legitimate case for the number 1 spot. Diggs led the league in catches. He led the league in yards. He hauled in 127 balls for 1,535 yards. His 8 touchdowns, I think, were sort of, it limited the ceiling in fantasy. The fact that he's never had double-digit touchdowns also not great. It's one that keeps him from being higher on this list. That's really, I mean, I'm heavy lifting. I don't know how, like he's
3, okay? It's pretty high.
Well, he's 3 only because Tyreek Hill is number 2. 17 touchdowns in just 15 games. Make that make sense. It's crazy. I don't know who the number 2 is. I'm working the sidelines for this Chiefs team. I'm trying to see is it Mecole Hardman, who's emerging. Sammy Watkins is gone. This offense is going to be as explosive, though, as ever. That's one thing I know. And he's averaged over 12 touchdowns a year since Mahomes took over, even while missing 5 games in that span. So maybe that's a little bit of a knock on him. He's been consistent. He's been dominant for 3 years now. That's enough to earn him the number 2 spot. Say no more. Number 1, my number 1 ranked fantasy wide receiver for the season.
There he
is my brother, Davante Adams. Rodgers back in the fold. I told you guys at the breakfast table sometime in mid-May that even if Rodgers doesn't show up, I'm still putting him number 1. He's here confidently. Look what he did on a per-game basis last year, leading the league with 18 touchdowns. He missed 2 games, by the way, and he's put up double-digit touchdowns in 4 of the last 5 seasons overall. He's entering a contract year. As scary as it sounds, I think we could possibly see another level to Davante's game in 2021. We talk about this a lot at the table, Kyle. Davante Adams, the kind of player who you see visibly gets better year to year, gets better game to game, gets better snap to snap, and now he wants to get paid.
It's true. You turn on a Packers game, you're like, damn, 17 is good.
Great analysis. Let's look at the list. Go ahead, rip it apart. My top 12 fantasy wide receiver rankings for 2021.
I take the first crack.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf to me is a superstar, about 8. Did you even consider putting him even higher? Because I see guys like Calvin Ridley, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown.
Yes.
I see DK as a top 4, top 5 guy this year. Where was the DK Metcalf conversation fantasy-wise?
Because the splits were so crazy from the first half to the second half that you'd think that defense, because of guys like Jordan Brooks, who you brought up, because of the defense, because of Bobby Wagner and company, Jamal Adams 7.5 sacks in the last 8 games. If that defense keeps going and carries that over into this season, and we're hoping that, maybe it's more balanced of an offense all the way through. Chris Carson gets some more work. We're hearing a lot about him. And let's not forget he has Tyler Lockett there to contend with, who's, in my opinion, the wide receiver 1 on the team. So I would be more concerned with the fact that Tyler Lockett's not on this list than DK being that high. I like him at 8.
Okay, CeeDee Lamb, that was a little bit of a surprise for me to see him on there over Amari Cooper, and you're sharing the roster with Zeke and all those guys. Well, what do you really like about CeeDee Lamb?
I think I like what I saw when he was on the field with a healthy Dak Prescott. I also like what I am hearing from some people who I've reached out to. Schrager, one of them. So when I hear a couple things separately, and I see the numbers with the guy, and then Schrager comes and co-signs it, I'm like, what do you think of CeeDee Lamb? And you have him as the guy you think's going to break out. I am very comfortable putting him where I have him. You heard
the Hard Knocks highlight reel also is so tantalizing. This week they showed a lot of CeeDee Lamb, and everyone just mouth agape. Like, it's all there. And now with Dak at quarterback, I think he can only go up 6 right now. Kate, you said it. He could be top 3 by the end of the year. That's how good he is.
And that doesn't mean that Gallup and Amari don't have 1,000-yard seasons. Like, this is an offense that's going to put up points.
You know what offense is going to put up points? The Titans. And I'm looking
Are
at
you
A.J.
mad?
Brown. I'm not mad. I hope people wait that long. I'm happy. I'm glad you did it. I don't think the defense is going to be excellent. I don't think that Derrick Henry is going to be a 2,000-yard rusher. And I think Tannehill's fantastic. And I just believe in A.J. Brown as a talent. He takes my breath away. He's incredible.
Yeah.
And I think the numbers are going to be there.
Bottom 5 defense, something I absolutely
that.
consider. I mean, Tom Brady's out there saying they're such a great defense. Bottom 5 last year. Did they do enough to improve? I don't think so. I like where I have him, but you would think he needs to be, like, you would put him higher than...
I put him higher than CD and Calvin Ridley.
One comment.
Yeah.
No Evans, no Godwin, no Antonio Brown. All those guys, they cancel each other out. Is that how that works?
There's a lot of depth, too. Like, people, I think people are going to be like, where's Julio Jones in this? Julio Jones always was lower for me than other people in any rankings, even in his best years with the Falcons. He just does not score touchdowns enough, and I don't know that he will in this offense. I think, A.J. Brown's going to benefit from those one-on-ones. So you might be right. We'll see. Are you going to pick him as your MVP when we make...
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. In fact, you just ruined it.
All right.